Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my spring 2018 Q&A video. I asked for some questions that you guys wanted to know the answer to and you delivered. So this video is filled with questions not only about Weight Watchers and my weight loss journey, but just about me in general. Completely random questions that you guys wanted to know the answers to. So the list of questions is long. This video is probably going to be pretty long, so grab yourself a cup of coffee, cup of tea, glass of water, stop, drop, and shrug, my friends, and sit back, buckle up, because it's gonna be a long ride. Let's dive right in. So I compiled all of the questions right here. I'm not going to tell you exactly who asked the questions because there are some questions that were repeated several times and whatnot, so I kind of consolidated everything, but if it's your question, you'll know. So without further ado, here we go. Question number one, what is your favorite TV show and movie? This is not an easy question for me because I have like top fives. I never have like a favorite show. So all-time favorite TV shows, I love Friends, I love Will and Grace. I'm currently loving Arrow and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a big one, and I really like Tim Allen's TV shows, Home Improvement and Last Man Standing. I was so mad when Last Man Standing got canceled. And Home Improvement's actually on Hulu now, so that's what I've been watching in my free time. Whenever I need just a little like 25-minute break, I usually will turn it on during lunch or something and enjoy an episode. And as for movies, my all-time favorite movies are Dirty Dancing, the Back to the Future trilogy, and the Harry Potter movies, but my current favorite, like in recent movies, is, oh, I also love The Devil Wears Prada. That's such a good movie. But I loved The Greatest Showman. I could watch it over and over and over again. I listened to the music constantly. It was such a good movie. How old are you and your husband? I am 31 and my husband is 32. When did you start Weight Watchers and how much have you lost so far? So this question actually warrants its own video, which will be coming in the near future. I promise to get it out in 2018 at some point, which will be a weight loss journey. But I officially started Weight Watchers, according to my account, in February of 2009. But my graph goes like this throughout the entire 9-year journey on Weight Watchers. I currently have lost 30 pounds, but from my highest to my first goal weight, I've hit goal on Weight Watchers and gained some of it back, was a total loss of 57 pounds. So I ended up gaining about half of it back. Or a little more than half actually, because I've lost about 10 pounds or so. And so currently, in the current state of my body, from my highest weight ever within that journey, I've lost about 30 pounds. Do you watch other YouTube channels about Weight Watchers stuff? And if so, who are your top picks? Yes, on occasion. I used to watch a lot more than I do now, but the more into doing that I get, the less time I actually have to sit and watch other YouTubers. But if I am watching YouTube, the couple of people that I tend to turn on are Jess from Weight Watchers Journey to Healthy. I love her videos. And when I watched YouTube, I watched her all the time. I will turn on Julie from Living Large on Lifetime on occasion. And I've recently been watching Amanda Seyfried. I think that's how you say her last name. So she has occasionally been popping up as I was actually just watching her videos, her Q&A actually, while I was getting ready to film mine because I wanted to get to know her a little bit better. So those are the top 3 that I really watch. I also watch a couple of non-Weight Watchers YouTubers. I love Blair Lamb's channel. She's a smaller YouTuber just like me, but she's so relatable, and I just feel like if she and I were in the same area, we would be such good friends because we have very much the same beliefs, very much the same lifestyle, which is really cool. And I also watch my token beauty channel is Jen Loves Reviews, so hope that helps. Do you realize how fabulous you are and how many people love you? Thank you. That's very, very sweet. Can you please give Gracie a big kiss for us on screen? Yes, I can. She's conveniently right here. Come here, baby. The people love you. She's like, why did you interrupt me from my sleep? Hi, the people love you. Yes, they do. Can I give you a kiss? Can I give you a kiss? Mwah! That's from all of them. What do you have to say to that? What do you have to say to do? Oh, you're like, put me down, mommy. I just want to go curl back up on my blanket. I love you. You're my girl. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Are you at goal? No, I am not at goal, but interesting story about my goal is this time around, I don't know what my goal is yet, quite frankly. So I am currently clocking in at like 158, and my last goal weight when I hit goal was 135, but that turned out to be a little too skinny and too difficult to maintain. Like my body automatically shot up 5 pounds once I let the reins go even a little bit. And which you're supposed to do after you hit goal is you're supposed to go into maintenance mode. Maintenance mode added 5 pounds almost immediately. So I'm thinking my goal weight is supposed to be somewhere between 140, 145, maybe even 150. So I'm getting there. I'm not there yet, and I don't know exactly what that number is. I feel like once I get close, I'll know. So we'll see. We'll see what goal ends up being. What does your husband do and where does he work? My husband is a management consultant, and I'm not going to tell you at what company because he would not like me to tell you at one company. And because it's a very confidential type situation, like we're talking confidential enough where I don't really know what companies I know his company, but what he does as a consultant is his company gets hired by other companies to come in and fix them. He's essentially a business doctor, if you will. I'm not allowed to know what companies he's going and fixing. So it's a classified type thing. What I need to know is I know the company my husband works for, and I always ask him what state and city he is in. Other than that, I don't know much more than you guys do, which is fine. It's fine. He likes his job currently anyway. It is a crazy lifestyle. We were just having this conversation last night. It is a crazy lifestyle, but basically he's a businessman. He has to, you know, dress in the button downs when he goes to work. He travels for work a lot, and his company is hired by other companies to come in and fix a problem. He is a business doctor, I like to say, but his official title I think is management consultant. How did you meet your husband? He and I actually met on OkCupid, which is a free dating website. And we met while he was living in South Florida and I was living here. And I thought it was very strange that he decided to message me, but lo and behold, he decided one day that he was going to check out what kind of women are in Chicago because he had lofty goals of going to business school for grad school in Chicago. So I guess he just decided to see what was there one night, and I turned up as his top match. And the rest is history. I can go into a whole story about how we met in our relationship because it is a roller coaster ride of craziness that proves that God really does have a plan, even if you might not expect it. Our story is insane. Our story is absolutely insane, but at the end of the day, we ended up together by the grace of God. We ended up together. We are married. We are happy. And all thanks to that free dating website. Who knew? We had several people ask us, will you have children? Are you planning on having children? Children. No, we are not planning on having children. We have taken the proper measures to ensure we will not be having children. And it is what it is. I feel that started as a him thing. Like his excuse is he is too selfish to have children, but and I always thought, like most girls, when you're growing up, you're like, I'm gonna get married and have kids. And that's what I always thought growing up. But the older I got and the more I worked with kids, the more I realized that that might not be my lot in life. Primarily because of my nerve disease that affects my muscles. I'm incredibly weak compared to the normal person, and I have a whole video on my CMT story. I'll pop that right up there for those of you that are new and curious. But basically, with the state of my body and my muscles, I don't know, how my body would respond to pregnancy. And I've heard many stories of people with my disease whose body did not respond well to pregnancy. And B, two, I forget what I'm using, after having the baby, the physical demands of carrying around an infant, granted, I know they start small, but like, that would be so much on my body. It would be crazy. And I have my niece, you guys know Alice, she appears on this channel all the time. I can hold her for about 10 minutes before I'm like, dude, I have got to put you down. And she also is getting to the age of the terrible twos where she's throwing tantrums, and I'm looking at her like, yeah, you're pretty much solidifying, you're confirming that my decision was the right decision for me. So my lot in life is to be the awesome, cool, and fun aunt. And I'm totally okay with that. And the extent of my children will be my fur babies. because they can carry themselves. But if you notice, I have a Yorkie because she doesn't shed, but she's also super tiny. Gracie is 6.5 pounds. I can carry around 6.5 pounds. I cannot carry around 6.5 pounds as it starts and then grows to a 3-year-old that still wants to be carried around all the time. So that was a really lengthy answer to basically say, no, my husband and I are not planning on having any biological children. What is your favorite song to sing, either in church or personally? That is an incredibly difficult question. One of my favorite songs to sing in church is In Christ Alone. It is my favorite song because it's kind of contemporary, but it's still very hymn-like. So like it gets into my Lutheran roots of like having a hymnal and everything, but it's a contemporary hymn and it's just beautiful. I love the words. I love everything about it. It's one of my favorite songs to sing. And in terms of in general, I really like Broadway show tunes and I have a really hard time picking just one. So let's do a couple of favorite shows or something. I love the songs from Wicked. I love anything that involves me belting. I love songs from Thoroughly Modern Millie. I love Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I have 2 bookshelves in my office full of songbooks from when I was teaching, and I will sit down and I will sing and belt. I love Waitress. I love singing along to The Greatest Showman. I love anything that lets me belt my heart out in a Broadway show tune kind of way. That's what I like. Have you ever thought of being a Weight Watchers leader? Why, yes, I have. I actually used to be a Weight Watchers leader. I worked for Weight Watchers shortly after I hit goal and through the beginning of 2015 when my husband and I moved to Japan for a little while. I had to quit my jobs because we were doing a whole lot of moving in the year of 2015 and there was no stability for me. So I dropped everything I was doing, and one of those things I was doing was being a Weight Watchers leader. I was a Weight Watchers leader for the Points Plus program, which you guys know is what I've decided to go back on, and that is where I found most of my success. That is where I was teaching, I was leading, and I had a great time on it. So yes, I have thought about being a Weight Watchers leader because I've already done it. If you could go any place in the world, where would you go? So I have places that I haven't been that I'd like to go, but I also have places that I have been that I'd like to go back to. So the ultimate place like I'd like to go that I haven't been is Australia, because I've done a lot of places, but Australia is a place I haven't done, and it just seems like it would be really fun to go to that side of the world and explore a little bit. Places I would like to go back to on vacation is Japan, because I didn't fully appreciate the fact that I was in Japan while I was living there, because it was a really difficult transitional time for me and I didn't embrace it well. But vacationing in Japan would feel very different from living in Japan, and I would love to go back knowing what I know now about Japan and go back and re-experience all of those things with fresh, positive eyes. And I would also love to go to New York City because I love New York and I love Broadway. My dream vacation, I kid you not, all these places in the world, I would love a luxury vacation that involves me going to New York, staying in a fancy hotel in Times Square, and having tickets to every Broadway show that is currently running. Like, goals right there. I could sit in a theater every night and just be the happiest I could ever be. How old is Gracie, and do you think you will get her a playmate, a doggy brother or sister someday? So Gracie turned 1 on November 2nd, so she's almost a year and a half old. And she will look like this little puppy forever, which makes me so happy. Will we get her a brother or sister? Potentially. We talked about it actually initially when we first got her. Eric's like, well, maybe we need a second one. But of course, he doesn't mean we need a second one. He has a hard time with her high energy. But I'm thinking maybe in a year or two, we might. It is a solid maybe. We have not said no, she's going to be our only dog, but we haven't said yes, definitely we want to get her another one. But it is definitely not out of the question. Is it awkward that you do Weight Watchers and your family members aren't on board? So 2 parts to this question. Currently, as of this date, my entire family is on board. Like, everybody that lives in my parents' house goes to a Weight Watchers meeting or does it online, and everybody is in weight loss mode in my family right now, my immediate family. So not awkward at all because they're currently doing it. However, it took years for them to get on board. Years. So when I was originally gung-ho about this Weight Watchers life and lost all of my weight in 2011, 2012, I was on my own. I was living in that house with 4 other people who did not care that I was on Weight Watchers, and I had to do it myself. Awkward is not the right word because they were supportive. They didn't care that I was doing it, but it was difficult because I had to do my own thing. So my dad would cook dinners and I'd have to constantly ask him what was in it. Be like, well, did you use diet this? Or did you use low fat milk? Did you use it? And most of the time he'd say, no, I didn't, because he didn't really care that I was on Weight Watchers. So it was a lot of me doing my own groceries and making my own food all the time. So was it frustrating? The most frustrating part was my family would go grocery shopping and bring food in the house that was a temptation to me. And it took a lot of self-control to not indulge. But interestingly enough, I have a harder time with that living alone than I did when I lived with them. Maybe because I had something to prove. While I lived with 4 other people that weren't doing it, I had to be like, screw you, I'm gonna do it anyway and succeed. I don't know what it is, but now, like, nobody's here supervising me. So if I bring it into the house, I have to practice extreme discipline, which I'm learning is not my strong suit. And so it's better for me if I just don't bring it into the house. But to answer your question, awkward was not the right word. It was difficult and frustrating, but my family has always been supportive, and now they're all on board too. So the fight was worth it. The fight was worth it. What did you study in college if you went, and did you ever work outside your home? That's a great question. Yes, I went to college. I went to a 4-year college up in Kenosha, Wisconsin called Carthage. It's a Lutheran college up there. And I have a degree. I have a dual degree in musical theater performance and straight theater performance. So I have a performance degree. And did I ever work outside the home? Yes, I've done quite a bit of work outside the home. My first job was actually at Bath & Body Works. Love me some Bath & Body Works. I've worked as a cashier at Kohl's. I have been a voice teacher. I have directed children's theater. I've done a lot of things. I worked at a music school when I was in North Carolina, and I've been a Weight Watchers leader. So I have done a lot of outside the home work. What are your hobbies? What is your go-to cookbook? And how do you plan your meals? So I actually have a hard time answering what are my hobbies, because I struggle with understanding the line between what's a hobby and what is like just part of my nature. So like I like to sing. I sit at the piano and I sing at church. Those are all hobbies. They're things I do for fun, but they're also things I do because that's what I do. I have a degree in vocal performance. So music is part of me, but music is one of my hobbies. Performing on stage is one of my hobbies. I'm starting to be more of a reader. I enjoy sitting down at the end of the day and watching TV and relaxing. My husband and I play games. There's a hobby. We play games, board games, card games like Munchkin, Flux, games along the lines of like Settlers of Catan. We have a game called Mystic Vale. So like we have a whole game collection, and we will invite people over and have game nights, or go to people's houses and have game nights. So I guess games is one of our big hobbies. And I want to say fitness is a hobby, but lately it's been feeling more like an obligation than a hobby. But it used to be something that I was really like, I'm going to the gym, and it's really fulfilling, and it still kind of is. Like, I'm trying to get back to that. And I also am trying to decide if YouTube and blogging is considered a hobby or considered my work. So I have a lot of stuff that, like, is it just what I do, or is it actually considered a hobby? I'm not a crafter. I'm not a cook. I cook because I have to, not because I necessarily enjoy it. Yeah. What is your go-to cookbook? I don't really use cookbooks. I use Pinterest and Weight Watchers related food bloggers. So my favorite go-to cookbooks, if you will, are blog websites. Skinnytaste.com, Drizzle Me Skinny, and Emily Bites blogs are my top 3. I'll sometimes take to Pinterest, but quite frankly, I make the same stuff over and over and over again. Instagram is a great place to get inspiration and recipes from other Weight Watchers people in the community. If I had to pick a cookbook, it would be the Hungry Girl cookbooks. I love Hungry Girl. I have like 4 or 5 of her cookbooks. And there are some things that I have learned from her and some recipes that I've taken from her that I still use. So if I have to pick cookbooks, it would not be a Weight Watchers cookbook. It would be the Hungry Girl cookbooks. I will have Hungry Girl linked down below because her cookbooks are incredible. How do you plan your meals? Quite frankly, I don't. I am not a meal planner. And so like the extent of my meal planning is because my husband travels for work, I have to think about cooking dinner for us as opposed to for me on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So when I go grocery shopping, I plan, meaning like we'll have chicken and this, and like I pick out those 3 meals. Usually one of them we eat out. But so I'll plan ahead for those, but otherwise it's just kind of what Weight Watchers staples do I have in the house and what do I feel like eating that day. Do I think I should become a better meal planner? Yes. I feel like I would benefit greatly from doing a little bit more meal prep and a little bit more meal planning, and it's something I want to dive into, which I will talk about in a different video. So for now, the answer is I don't plan my meals, really, but I'm going to try and start. If you have any meal planning resources or ways that you like to plan your meals, let me know in the comments below, because I really don't know where to start. I've tried meal planning and it just never sticks. It never sticks. So let me know your tips. Can you give advice on how to have a happy marriage? I hope so. So my husband and I actually, we bicker about little stupid things like you didn't wash out the laundry detergent cap, or it stinks in here, why do you use so many essential oils, or why do you leave the toaster out? Little things like that. But we were talking about this just the other day. We've never really had like a big all-out fight. Like it just hasn't happened. And so we are very, very lucky to actually have nothing major to have had a problem with. But some of the best advice that I could give on happy marriage is, 1, don't forget that marriage is a lot of work and it is constant work. You cannot become complacent in your marriage, because as soon as you become complacent, it starts to go backwards. You always have to constantly be trying and working towards a better, stronger, healthier marriage. One of the, I can't remember which book it was in, but I've read, I really enjoy reading books written by like Christian authors on happy, healthy Christian marriages. One of my favorites was this book called Love and Respect. It was so insightful, so very, very, very insightful. I will have it linked down below. But I actually found out about it when we lived in North Carolina and we were attending a church down there. They did an entire sermon series on love and respect based off of this book. And so I finally decided to read the book, and it was brilliant and so helpful in getting insight into the opposite sex's mind. So I value that book greatly and would recommend it to anybody. If I think of any other books that would be helpful, I'll link those down below as well. But the piece of advice was, if you make it your #1 priority to put the other person first, always, then you will be having a happy marriage. With the big but, however, being both parties have to be on board with that. So I'm always constantly trying to think of and act and serve what would serve my husband best. What things can I do for him? What things would make him happy? And in turn, when he's home, he has the same mindset for me of how can I help her? The other day, even, I was off doing my own thing at the March of Dimes 5K, and I came back and laundry was running, and he Rain-X'd my windshield and did some cleaning and stuff, which I did not expect him to do. I expected him to be watching hockey all day. He was watching hockey by the time I got home, but he had a list of things that he had done for me, because he went, I'm trying to figure out what I can get done for you before I leave for the week. And it's little things like that, and like the fact that I would rather order out or have something not Weight Watchers friendly, weirdly enough, because like I need a break every once in a while, but because he wants a home cooked healthy meal, I will cook him what he wants. I always check in to make sure how can I help you? How can I support you? So as long as both parties are living under the what can I do best to serve my spouse first and me second, as long as both of you are doing that, it works flawlessly. Now, if it's single-handed, there's one person with that mindset and the other person doesn't care, then it's going to be severely off balance. So as long as you guys are in agreement that that's where you're going to be, then it's great. You guys will take excellent, excellent care of each other. Practice patience, practice compromise, pick your battles, because sometimes the battles are not worth fighting. Choose which battles are worth fighting for you and let the other stuff go. And at the end of the day, love each other. You have to make the choice to love each other. The butterflies and all that cutesy stuff is gonna fade, but if you wake up every day and say, I love this person with all of my heart and I need to act like and respond like I love this person, you have to make the choice to love, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. As a creative who has also studied your craft in college, kudos to you for knowing that I did that. How did you find balance for practicing your craft after graduation while also doing other work to pay the bills? Interesting question. So quite frankly, for me, I kind of fell into it. And the way I started right out of college was I ended up going back to my high school and being a private voice teacher. I never once planned on teaching. I wanted to perform, but performance is hard. Getting in a performance is hard. And I realized very quickly that that dream of mine, as much of it as it is a dream, was becoming an impossibility, or at least a lot less likely, especially and specifically because of my disability, which sucks. Really, really sucks. But my high school choir director actually called me the fall of my senior year of college and said, I have a job for you. And I said, I still have a year of college left. She goes, I don't care. Do you have a job yet? No. She goes, I want you to come back and teach. So I asked my voice teacher, how do you teach voice lessons? And she goes, you do exactly what I do to you. So I was a completely non-educated in terms of how to teach people person. And I dove in with both feet and started teaching right outside of college, private voice lessons. And I would do community theater shows. So I was teaching during the day and I was rehearsing at night. And that's how I was able to do both things. I also sing in choir, and I eventually ended up with a job directing children's theater, which I didn't know I was good at, but apparently I am. And so I did that up until I moved to North Carolina. And in North Carolina, I managed to get a job as a voice teacher at an actual music school. So I have been blessed enough. The good Lord watches over me, and he gave me the opportunity to use my craft, even though I wasn't singing or wasn't performing. So I consider that to be a huge blessing. And now that I don't necessarily do that anymore, I haven't been in a show in over a year. And before that show, it had been 5 years. Like, oh my goodness, I need to get back on stage so bad. But it's really hard when you have a disability and you got out of the area for a while, but that's a whole nother story. I sing at church, and I use my craft to sing the praises of God and help bring others to God, which is amazing and something I really enjoy doing. And I feel like it is the best way to use my gift, because it was a gift from God, so why not use that gift for him, right? So I do that now, even though I don't necessarily use my craft in many other ways in present time. But right out of college, that's what I did, and it was glorious, glorious. Do you work outside of the home, or is YouTube your full-time job? And this is my last question. No, I no longer work outside the home. Once we left for Japan, I quit all of my jobs, and my husband and I had a long, lengthy conversation about moving forward, because we knew that was going to be a huge period of transition. We were in Japan through March, then we had to go back to North Carolina so he could graduate in May, then we were going to Florida, then we were moving up here because he had his job. And so we sat and figured out exactly what I was supposed to do. And he being the financial man, really wanted me to go out there and get another job. But I told him the thing that I like to do the most, which I don't really love to do, if I'm being completely honest. I love to perform, but teaching is the thing that was most lucrative for me. But I was like, I can't reestablish myself at home as a voice teacher until I know we're staying. Because if I, use the next year and a half to curate this amazing studio, and then I have to up and leave them again because you change your jobs, that's not fair to anybody. And he goes, yeah, that's a really good point. So he agreed to let YouTube and my blog, let me try and see what happens. And so now my full-time jobs are housewife. I manage things around here. I keep things clean and organized. I take care of Gracie and train her. I make sure there are always groceries in the house, and I'm doing most of the stuff that is home related, except make phone calls to like insurance companies. I really hate doing that, so my husband does that. But because he's gone all the time, I'm in charge here. This is my domain. I am queen of the castle. And so I'm full-time housewife. And I balance that with trying to be a Weight Watcher and get my fitness on, go to physical therapy, do things to take care of myself, and run the errands and do Diva and the Divine. So yes, as of right now, my full-time job is YouTuber and blogger, but it has been a long and hard road of not a whole lot of income actually. But just now, as of this morning, the filming of this video, I'm less than 50 followers away or subscribers away from the 10,000 mark, which is huge. Huge. So hopefully by the time you are seeing this video, I have surpassed that mark, which would be absolutely incredible. But that is like the next step in getting to more full-time status and making this an income. My goal is to make Diva and the Divine my actual full-time gig income that I can contribute to the household. Because right now, we live off of my husband's income. Everything is done off my husband's income. And my income goes to get invested back into things like products to review and my equipment. I bought my camera and everything all on my own with money I've made from my blog and YouTube channel, but I haven't really used it to contribute to the household, to the grocery budget. The only thing I use it for is it's kind of extra spending money for me. So I would love to get it to the point of I can start contributing and I can start, you know, adding a couple $100s to the grocery budget or buying something for the home. I did buy my piano. My piano was $3,000 hard earned, but my husband doesn't know how to touch a piano. Like, if it was fair that I bought the piano because that's my baby. But I'm hoping that this going forward is going to be what I continue to do, and you guys seem to want me to continue to do this, so I thank you for your love and your support throughout this entire Diva and the Divine journey, and I hope you will continue to hang out with me in the future, because without you guys, I've got nothing. I've got nothing. So, short answer, yes. I am a full-time blogger and YouTuber / housewife. And there you go. I told you this video was going to be long, but we got through it. Congratulations and gold star to you if you have made it all the way to the end of this video. If you have other questions that you have thought of, go ahead and leave them down below, because I always am taking questions I'm getting from you, leaving them in a list, and when I have enough for another Q&A video, I will go ahead and film another one. So any questions you have left, I have left unanswered, leave them in the comments below. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, because it really does help me out. And if you haven't subscribed yet, click that little button down there. Maybe you could be my 10,000th subscriber, which would be amazing. And there's going to be some big things happening once I hit that 10K, so you will not want to miss it. As always, thank you guys so much for watching and taking the time to get to know me a little bit better. I really hope you did enjoy it and learned a little something else about me through this video. Thank you guys, take care, and I will see you next time. Bye!